Oh, don't start flashing red. What is up, guys? It is Simon Goodin here, bringing you another video. As you can tell by the title, we're talking about competing. Now, we're competing in physique competitions, bodybuilding, men's physique, bikini. What you need to take into consideration before you think about going into those competitions. So, writing a little list on the old phone. Let's start from the top. Are you happy with the amount of muscle mass that you already have? Because although you're going into a competition prep, a lot of people start thinking of a competition prep as a time which you go into building muscle. That is not the case. What you've done in your off season or your time training up to this point is where you've built your muscle mass. Yes, you'll be able to build a little bit of muscle mass in the beginning stage of prep, but when you start getting down to those low body fat percentages, it ain't gonna happen. I should note, this is gonna be applicable to natural competitors. Some of these points won't be applicable to unnatural, but if you're unnatural or assisted, then you might want to enjoy the rest of this video anyway. Thing about it this time is you revealing what you've already built. So remember, that is a key point. Have you built the physique you want to reveal on stage? Next, is your calories and cardio where it should be at the baseline? So what I mean by that is, are you on a high amount of calories and a low amount of cardio? A lot of bikini competitors especially will start thinking about competition prep and they're already on 1800 calories. So when you get into your competition prep and you're really digging deep, you're going to be on some poverty macros. So think about where your body is, metabolism, or your baseline of your food intake and your expenditure is. Because if you're ramping up your cardio and you're already doing a few, like an hour a week or a few hours a week at the moment, you're not going to have a life. So, well, prep. The later stages of prep, having a life is difficult anyway, but you want your food to be nice and high, a position where you're taking in enough food which you're probably like, I don't actually want this food anymore, I'm done with food. Your appetite is low, your food focus is low, which will bring me on to my next point, but your food focus is low and your cardio is nice and low as well. So you've got plenty to add to or pull from. So next, as I said, food focus. If you've still got a really high food focus and you're really hungry for your next meal, or you're fixating on food a lot, bad position to be in going into a prep. Because going into a competition prep is going to make all of that heightened. So you're just going to be obsessing over food, which not a good thing to be, not a good position to be in. Okay, so next is your time frame. Be honest with yourself. How fat are you? How fat are you in your off season? Did you go too hard? Are you actually in a good position where you don't need such a long prep? Are you going to be needing to diet for a long period? If so, maybe it's not the right time for you to do a show. Maybe you should diet down a little bit first, see where your physique is. If you're not happy with it, there's going to be a show next year. There's going to be shows later on in the year. Don't worry about it. Like, people rush into shows too much. People rush into shows when they don't have enough muscle mass and when they are too fat in their off season. Both of those things are big warning signs that you shouldn't be doing your prep. If you haven't got the muscle mass, you're going to go on stage, you're going to look small, you're going to look depleted. You're just not going to have, you're not going to bring your best package to stage. If you go into your off season, if you go into your prep and you're too fat, that prep is gonna be shit, properly shit. And that's even if you manage to get in the right condition on stage. You know, it's not gonna be a pleasant experience. And I'm talking like 20, 30 weeks. Don't be looking at the Olympia guys that are doing 10 weeks and all this kind of stuff, because as I said before, assisted and natural is two different ball games. So take that into consideration, and also take into consideration those guys have been training a hell of a long time, so they have the muscle mass, they have all the people on their team to tell them what to take and all the rest of it. So don't base it off that. have a look at the natural competitors, what they do. Okay, so plenty of time to do your prep. Next, as I said, the amount of weight loss needed during that period. Be honest with yourself, and probably after you're honest with yourself and you look at that number, take a little bit more off. Trust me, you will probably diet down lower than you think you need to. And even if you get lower than you think you need to, and you look there and you're like, actually, I've still got more to lose, you got to be honest with yourself. You're not as heavy as you thought you were. So even if you are, I don't know, like dieting down below 60 kilos or something, and you still are not looking like a crackhead, then depending on what kind of look you're going to go for, especially in bodybuilding, you're going to need to be pretty shredded for a lot of bodybuilding shows, even the natural ones. Next, upcoming social events, or anything upcoming which you think will probably be more difficult to manage a prep in, such as weddings, such as holidays, family events. Those things, if it's right in the middle of your prep, then it's probably going to be an issue. If it's right at the beginning of your prep, you'll probably be okay. You can manage things, you can be a little bit more estimating your tracking and things like that. But also what you have to take into consideration is you are going to be a miserable bastard during that time. So if you're going to a wedding and everybody else is having fun and you're there with your Tupperware and a miserable looking face, you're not going to be the light of the party, and you probably will annoy quite a few people. So take that into consideration. Maybe it'll be better for you to do it the year after. Okay, next, social situations. Now, this can mean quite a few different things, but if you are in a relationship which is on the rocks and you go into a prep, it's not going to end well. I tell you that now. It's not going to end well, because if you're already a miserable bastard and you go into prep, you're going to become worse. And any social event, any friendships that are kind of on the border are going to go. So if you value those and you value that relationship, don't do it. Maybe wait until things have fixed themselves or you've built up a better relationship. But things like family, things like strong relationships, you will value those so much during your prep. Take full advantage of them in some ways, but also thank the people that are in that situation, like your family, your relationships, but warn them as well. Tell them, I'm going to be miserable for a couple of days, months. I'm going to probably be the worst side of myself for a couple of months. But the thing is, you have to remember during a prep is, if it's your first prep, you will probably experience that a lot. As you go through your preps, you learn more about yourself, you become more patient, you learn how to manage those things. Well, majority of people, well, some people do anyway. Some people are still miserable through preps and they've done 20, 30 preps. Probably not 20 or 30, but they've done a lot of preps and they're still miserable bastards. There will be an element of that, and there will obviously be times where you are run down, depleted, and you snap. But you have to know how to manage those situations, and you will learn a lot from it. I'm quickly going to go into some things which I learned from my last prep. Maybe it'll help some people, maybe it won't. So, benefits from prep. This is a post I was going to put up on Instagram, 7030 Fitness, but I never got around to it. So, accepting the fact that you are hungry in a prep is going to mean that doing other diets and things later on down the line is going to be a lot easier, because you've managed that hunger, you know how to manage that hunger. I'm doing a mini cut right now and it's a breeze. Like, I'm down 8 pounds and I don't even feel like it's a struggle at all. Next, you'll probably create a hell of a lot, or pick up a hell of a lot of diet hacks. So whether that's jellies or adding lots more vegetables, water, things like that, all of those things will benefit you a lot next time you come to diet. social occasions and appreciating them a lot more. When you go out with friends in your off season, or you can go to the cinema with your girlfriend, or all these kind of things, you sit there and you're like, I appreciate this, I really value this. So that's something that you pick up during prep, because you can't do it as much. It's like not being able to have it, and then you have it, you're like, actually, I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Learning patience. Like I said before, you learn a lot more patience, you learn about yourself, and then learning how to dig deep and apply yourself to anything. So that's obviously very important for if you're running your own business or anything in life really that you want to commit yourself to. Digging deep and applying yourself to it that's a very valuable lesson that you can learn. So I'm not trying to put anyone off prep, I'm not trying to put anyone onto prep, because both of those things, you have to make your decision for that. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that interesting or learned something. If you have any interest or inquiries or questions on competing or just getting into a little bit of a better shape, then I'll leave my email link in the description below. I hope you all have a lovely day and continue crushing your training. Have a lovely day. I've said that twice. Have a doubly lovely day. Peace.